Big shocker, right? Not really. Anyways, let's go.
How is it sexism when we have no barriers today? So we can pick what we want to pick.
Who doesn't have barriers?
Women don't have barriers?
Women, yeah. What's
We have
stopping
no
you? You can do
barriers.
whatever you want.
I can or you can?
What's stopping you?
Oh, this is so cringe.
Should we?
Vice invited a diverse group of women to hash out the state of feminism in the United States. Oh God, with diversity. And of course they have this chick. Now this is just kind of sad, but I mean, it's whatever. But you know, part of the being super inclusive is having like a handicapped person there. So then they also have a fat chick, colored chick, you know, they try to have a diverse group, but it's just the pandering is just too much for me. Like, honestly, I don't know. Anyways, let's just go.
Will you mark this bad boy at all? Oh my goodness.
Oh, here we go. Hi, welcome everybody. I'm Liz Landers. I'm Vice News' chief political correspondent, and we are here today to talk about some of the biggest issues dividing women across the country. In other words, we're here to talk about feminism. First, I just want to say, we know we can't represent everybody's views, but we did try our best to bring together a diverse group of women today. In today's polarized world, is feminism dead? You guys saw your hand.
I think that depends on the definition of feminism.
I feel like this chick, and I think she's a lesbian, she's like the skinniest one, her too. But the rest of these chicks are just like checking in like $160, which is just wild. Minimum.
Shut up and take my money.
Jesse Elridge, 499 super chat. Is Rolo just upset that his female protege isn't gaining traction while Pearl is? I don't know if he's upset, but I do know Torsha offers nothing beyond those fake. It's like, what value do you produce? Like, you regurgitate Rolo's material in a dumber manner, like, and people just pick up a book and read it. So is this a man? This is not a man. This is, I don't know. This is not a man. There's got to be a woman because they're all women.
I strongly think that feminism is more of an action than an identity. I would say it's uplifting all women, in which case it's very alive. At the same time, if we do follow...
And you'll notice how all these chicks, you know, I think I'm just going to play this. No, I'll play it at regular speed. But I'm going to unplay it from 1.25 to 1.0 because taking a look here real quick, look, all these people seem so fake and rehearsed. Like, watch how she's speaking about giving her little spiel on feminism.
Is more of an action than an identity. I would say it's uplifting all women, in which case it's very alive. At the same time, if we do follow that definition, feminism has splintered off into so many different areas that you can look at people like Sheryl Sandberg who say you should just get another nanny if you feel oppressed. And if we're talking about that kind of feminism, yeah, it's pretty dead.
Yeah, I mean, as long as the human race exists, feminism will never be dead.
So they're just seeing that chick just seems so fake and rehearsed. And I'm telling you, like, these people that are part of this like victim Olympics, this is their life. Like this cause, this victimhood cause, which is basically rooted in low self-esteem, is something they're fighting for. And I don't know, you'll see. Anyways, let's continue.
There's something that we're going to have to strive and work towards to make sure that there's equality. So feminism is not dead.
I don't know that it can die. As long as there's power and oppression, there will be people fighting for equity. And until that somehow goes away, feminism is alive and well.
I think feminism isn't actually about equality. It's about equality when it benefits us. I think feminism is really about women wanting special privileges and treatment at the expense of men often. And I think it's alive and well, sadly.
And I love now I'll say this. Pearl is playing a character, but she's playing it very well. And she's not saying anything but facts, and she's presenting it in a digestible manner that is like pretty hard to argue against. And she knows by the other people flipping out just makes her look better. Shout out to Christian Mitchell, who just donated $5. So appreciate you, dude. Sean Bipley, thank you again for the hundo. Should I just throw that back up on here? Jesus Christ, mate. That is, look at this guy dropping the hundo and not even leaving a comment. Just, hey, here you go. Thank you, brother. DM me on Instagram.
I think feminism is also alive and well. There are different kinds of feminism, right? Like, that is obvious. And I for me as a womanist, as a Black feminist, right, as someone who's really thinking about human rights, dignity, right, equity, right, as long as that need isn't met, we're still going to keep fighting.
I'd say it's alive and well. I'd say that it's also very nuanced. And I think what it looks like is going to differ depending on where you are in the world. For me, I just see it as a lens, which isn't necessarily antagonistic or protagonistic. It's just a useful tool.
You just so you guys know, in Japan, you never see this ever. So when I see this is like, it's like going to the fucking circus for me. Just like, I like every time I go back to America, I'm like, what a fucking freak show this place is. So I just, because Japan, the obesity rate here is like 8%, 5%, something. It's a single digit. I think it's 5%, 5.3 if I'm correct. Seeing this is just unreal. It blows my mind. It's funny.
Which isn't necessarily antagonistic or protagonistic. It's just a useful tool.
Similar to what Pearl just said, I find that a lot of feminist ideology and thought today feels more.
So this chick, Sydney Watson, she was on The Quartering the other day with Jeremy. That's a huge like kind of cultural commentary / nerd channel.
And take my money.
And somebody else sent a donation. Sam Whiskey says $4.99. It's a bad hair day. Thank you so much. And then Christian
Shut up and take my money.
Mitchell says another 5. It's Ellie Eric is a man. The host is a man as well. Jordan is a man too. Nah, those are chicks. Those are chicks. She was on a podcast with The Quartering, and I talked about this with Roll the other day on Rule Zero. They were talking about body count, and she was like, "Oh, body count doesn't really matter." And the whole chat was like, "Yes, it does. Yes, it does." So it kind of lets you know where we are in the culture right now, where body count is like a culturally mainstream word. And there is a trend right now where guys are looking for women that like women are kind of getting called out for having a high body count. And, you know, it's part of the discussion in the mainstream culture now. So it's letting you know that, like, in my opinion, I think things are going to get better because once you have a discussion about it, the truth always comes out. And I just don't think they're going to continue to oppress the people. It's just individuals one by one, like leaders and stuff, like Kevin Samuels, Andrew Tate. Yes. But like, you can't stop the red pilling of the masses. You just cannot.
More of like a supremacist movement rather than something that is supposed to be advancing the goals of equality. I don't think that we can really term what's going on as feminism because it looks so different to, I think, the earlier feminist movements. So in that way, I would say it's taken its last breaths of life. It's dying.
Yeah, I definitely think it's getting more and more radicalized, for sure. So it's definitely still alive.
I think I'll preface and say that I don't know so much about modern Western feminism, and there might be a lot of terms that I don't know, like political jargon and stuff. But I believe in the advancement of women, whoever considers themselves a woman.
Notice how the pretty girl, like she's pretty hot and she doesn't have a very extreme view on things. So far, at least, who knows? People keep on telling me this is a man. Is this really a man? This is not a man. I'm getting 50-50 in the chat. Can somebody, Boogie, can you look this up? If you can, I don't know if these people are trolling me in the chat. This is not a man. Why would they be sitting? They would not have a man sit on a fucking women's panel for feminist rights.
I think there's a deficiency in society. So it's deeply rooted that feminism has always existed. I think America's a little obsessed with himself.
Oh, she is wearing a turtleneck. Is this a dude? Looks kind of, now you guys said it does look like a dude. This is just, I can't even. Oh man.
And it's like always feminism is rooted in America and like, oh, white women started it. And it's kind of offensive because for thousands of years, women have been dying for their rights.
I think as a Black woman specifically, when you talk about feminism, yeah, the mainstream first thing you think about is a certain type of feminism that tends to exclude still, even today, even with intersectional feminism, exclude African-American women. And it's always kind of done that. And also like upper middle class white women has predominantly been the face of what we quote unquote consider feminism.
I think feminism is attempting to say, okay, the first thing we agree on is that there are barriers and friction to what I need and what I want based on the fact that I'm a woman. What it ignores is that, and what privilege is that you may not have to think that being a woman and being a Black woman and being a Black woman who has a disability, for example, impacts you further. You have more barriers, you have more friction, you are less able to get what you want. You're undervalued in a way that's like, okay, well, you know.
So I'm not trying to make fun of Stumpy here, but you know, she is obviously, you know, lower on the attraction poll, objectively speaking. and she is like super fucking oppressed. And like the other girl who was pretty hot, you know, not much to say.
Well, that's life. That's what I mean by equity, and that we're able to, without friction, all get the same needs met.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I
That's socialism.
disagree with that. I think life is easier if you're a girl. Actually,
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of benefits that men don't.
Look at this too. Look at this. Look at this hot. The hot girl immediately agreed with her. She is objectively probably the hottest one out of all these girls. And she quickly laughed and agreed with Pearl. She is probably the number 2 hot, and then Sydney, and then Pearl, and then the rest of the wildebeests. I'm not even gonna rank them because I'm gonna vomit. But yeah, like, come on. It's just it's hilarious. It's comedy writes itself. Comedy writes itself.
Don't have. I'm not going to speak anything to race. I'm just talking.
Look at the hot girl again. Watch what she says. Like instinctively, like, yeah, I think women have it easier.
And all get the same needs met.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I disagree with that. I think life is easier if you're a girl. Actually,
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of benefits that men don't have.
She's smiling because she knows she's used her feminine powers to get away with it. You know, that's the thing too that cracks me up. Like, if women just leaned into their femininity, they would have such a huge advantage in society compared to just being like these megacons that they've become. Not all of them, but feminine women get it easier, man, because they just know their role, and guys like it, and guys will work to make their life easier.
I'm not going to speak anything to race. I'm just talking about gender specifically. It's usually like an excuse. Like, honestly, I think as a girl, you have equal opportunity in the world. I think there's benefits. Like, for example, we have quotas for women in specific jobs that are given to us that aren't given to men. So yeah, I would say it's easier being a girl.
Just from a viewpoint over here, though, it seems there's a lot of pretty privilege in what you're saying, and that you're white.
Oh, look at that. See, going immediately to the pretty privilege. Yeah, it's honestly like it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad because she's just, you know, whatever. But hey, man, you just, in life, you just got to play the hands that are dealt to you. Like, sometimes, you know, you might be short, or you might be fucking, you know, not as good looking as you want to be, but it is what it is. You just got to max out your stats and give it a go. That's just life. And she's obviously triggered hard here.
And you present.
Do you think I'm pretty? Thank you.
I think that you present in a way that beauty standards have accepted. And so
they call me ugly on the internet all the time. They be roasting me daily. I swear to God.
I don't mean to say I think you're gorge. I just mean that there a certain value that we give to certain bodies.
I mean, let's also dig into why these quotas exist and why these, what you're calling
because we want
exist.
special treatment.
If that was a dude and I was sort of like, shut up, bro. Like, you're not even a fucking woman.
No, it's because there have historically and presently in most jobs been fewer women, and because of sexism.
How is it sexism when we have no barriers today?
Well, this is a man who studied how to be a woman. That's why he seems so rehearsed.
So we can
Who
pick
has
who
no
we
barriers?
pick.
It doesn't have barriers.
Women don't have barriers?
Women, yeah. What's
We have
stopping
no
you? You can do
barriers.
whatever you want. What's
I
stopping
can
you?
or you can?
What's stopping you? As a woman.
As a woman.
See,
That ignores a lot that I'm a woman with a disability. So there's a lot stopping me that you don't have to think about.
Well, as I said before, I'm speaking about women. I'm not.
You're speaking for yourself.
You're speaking as an able-bodied woman.
I understand.
I studied this in the oppression Olympics here. Yes, you're speaking as an able-bodied woman, you know, just looking for reasons to be miserable. Look at her. She's like, I'm just happy to be on this show.